Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. We have a new set. It's actually like I film, usually I'm standing over there, but we have my knitting machine here. And I am really into exploring my knitting machine at the moment. I've been doing loads of samples lately because I have like a few booklets where you can do patterns and such. And I'm really excited to just do something with my knitting machine, like make something, do a project, make a jacket or something. So in this week's video, I am trying, fingers crossed, to make a jacket. Hopefully that works. I have no idea. I have never done a big scale project like that before. I technically know how to use the machine, but you never know. So let's get started. So if you've never heard of or seen a knitting machine before, it's this like big thing right here with a bunch of needles, and you have this, what is that called in English? That sledge, I guess, that you know, put back and forth, and every row, putting this sledge to one side is one row. All of the needles like get up and down and create a loop so that you continue on knitting. So it's essentially the same principle that industrial knitting machines use still to this day, and actually also when you do it by hand, it's also the same principle. So I'm really excited to use this. I have thoroughly cleaned the knitting machine. This is actually one originally from the 60s, 1960s. I've had this since 15 years, something like that, because I got really into knitting machines when my aunt showed me how to use hers, basically, and then I was like, I want one too. So my mom got me one off eBay, and this is that one. So it has been cleaned thoroughly by me in the last couple of days, and yeah, it's basically the first time of me using this on a full-scale project. Super excited, very scared, and I can't wait. So I have a few samples that I did. So this is what a usual left-right stitch looks like. Since I have a double-bedded machine, it can do left-right. There are also only one-bedded machines that can only do left and then right on the other side, or vice versa, you know what I mean. But this can do these types of knits, like 2x2, 1x1 and stuff like that. So you can do that. And then I got a little bit into experimenting, like I knitted a few patterns. This is a very intricate one, very difficult, high error potential, but it looks really nice on both sides, and it's very 3D, so that's really nice. The number refers to my booklets where there are, you know, numbered patterns. So then I have this one where, you know, I did a little mistake at the bottom, so that's that. Also looks really nice on both sides, but I like this side better. I think the booklet actually says this is the right side. I like this side way better, so that's what I would be using. Then I have this one, which just was a whole mess. Did not like it. Also, the tension is off, weird, no to that. This one was fun. It's a very lightweight knit with a lot of like bigger holes in it. I think this looks really nice also from both sides, but this one is my favorite. Really like that one. And then my absolute favorite is actually this one, which technically that is the right side, but this one looks so much better. I don't know who chose the right and the wrong side in the booklet. This one is actually the one that I decided on. I'm gonna use this pattern, and I'm gonna try to use the same yarn, which is, you know, like a, what is that, maybe a 2.5 needle size. In European sizes, I'm not sure what that is in American sizes, but I'm sure editing me will put it on screen. I also tried that pattern with a smaller yarn, a thinner yarn, but I feel like you can't really tell that it has a pattern. It just looks like a big messy blotch, so I don't really like that. I wanted to use this yarn because it is like a little bit softer. These are all cotton, by the way, but it just does not come out however I wanted it to come out, which is very sad. So I will be using this one, which is a color changing yarn. The cake actually is down below here. I'm onto the green section, the green, yellow greenish section, and then there's going to be a white as you can see, it's already pretty empty. So I'm not sure how far I can go with that cake, but we'll just go and see where it takes us, I guess. So I already measured and did some calculations as to how many needles I need to put into work. So this is 30 loops across and is 11 centimeters. I need 40 centimeters. That means I need 109 needles in works. So let me just do that. And I'm gonna start off with a 1x1 hemline, and then I'm gonna go into the pattern itself. So it's basically gonna look the same as this piece right here, just longer or wider. So what was that again? I think I needed a 1.5 tension to start off. I'm gonna use this color and fingers crossed, let's go for it. Oh no, I need to put the edge pieces in place first so that I get a clean edge, and I need to make sure that these are closed. There are like so many like small little intricate steps that you tend to forget, like this one. Okay, but that's done, so let's go for it. Let's do the tension to 2. I'm scared. Okay. That went well. Looks like the tension is a lot here. Okay, now let's switch to the CX and do a 2.5. Oh, did I do 3? Let's do 2 3/4 and go all the way back and do another one. And now back to N and final tension. That one is always the hardest because you go from a very, very tight tension for the start to your usual tension, so that one always is very hard. But apart from the beginning, I did not do the correct tension here for my upper thread. I think apart from that, everything should be fine. So let's do, I guess, like 20 rows. How many did I do here, like this distance? 20, okay. Let's do 20 back and forth and see where that takes us. I'm nervous. And if you couldn't tell, this is a workout. I'm actually wearing kind of workout clothes, so let's hope this works. Okay, so now it's the time for me to start doing the pattern. And the pattern looks like this, but basically I need to put the, I don't know what they're called in English, Stöße, into work as well, and then just follow whatever is written on here. So I'm gonna do that really quickly. And this is actually where I had the most problems when I was doing my tryout, because these are really hard to work with, and they just, I don't know why, but they kind of keep on like going outwards. This is what they look like. Going outwards and then bending on me because the sledge goes over top, and it just needs a little bit of force, and that just, if you get them at the wrong angle, they just bend, which is not really nice, and they need to, you know, like work smoothly. And you can completely ruin your pattern if these don't work. Okay, and I also need to re-loop my needles. Every 3 needles is 1 empty needle. I need some table or something here. This is such a mess. Okay, I'm gonna start right here. So I have my edge needle, and then I have 3, and then I'm gonna also need weights. I'm gonna re-hoop this to the one next to it, and then I'm gonna continue doing that over the whole work piece. And this whole machine works completely mechanical. There is no cord, there's nothing electronic about it. Like, This is also like iron work, so like very sturdy, but you also have to care for it. Everything is prepared now, and let's hope that it all works. I think I need to start off with 4 rows. Yes, 4 rows in like idling mode, normal left, right, and then special ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have to do 2 AX with the left arrow, and that's gonna be the one that's gonna be problematic, because this is gonna lift up the Stößer for whatever reason. So let's, fingers crossed, let's try. It starts off with exactly doing that. Nope. Why is it doing that? Okay, change of plans. They keep bending on me. They just don't work. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. If it's too old, if it's not sliding like good enough, I'm not sure. I just put oil on them. Still does not really like to work. But I think the solution is to choose a pattern without them, just to have less work. So I'm trying to figure out whether I can salvage this start or if I need to start over. And I'm not really sure what to do, because most of these need them. I'm gonna start over. So this is the piece that I ended up, taking off of the machine. I tried out another pattern that I actually really liked and that works in this long piece of fabric. Obviously the thread ripped on me when I was trying to get the machine to make the new pattern, but apart from that I can change that with just a different beginning. I really like this pattern, both sides of it actually. I'm not sure which side I like more. I think this side. I think that's my plan B now, since it just wouldn't work. I actually am using a few of the lower thingies there that really gave me a hard time. So really excited that I made it work. So let's go ahead, do the same things as before with a little bit of a different beginning. And I'll be back once I have the 20 rows and we can start with the pattern. After lots of trial and error, I am finally so far that I can continue knitting. I'm currently at row 70, so I did a little bit. I had some trial runs. This one you already know, this one was promising, and then I don't know what happened here or here. Stuff like that happens. But now I'm just gonna continue going back and forth for like 200 rows so that I build up, the bottom. And then we're gonna go into the sleeves where you want to shape your piece a tiny bit. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I have 200 rows now, and now I'm gonna start doing the arm's eye. I zoomed you in here to the edge of my piece because I'm gonna have to put the needles towards the inside, and I'm gonna do that obviously by hand as well. So I have my little tool here, and essentially what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna switch over 2 needles. So I'm gonna loop this over to this side. And this as well. And then repeat the same for the other bed. And then I'm gonna have to switch out this one as well, because otherwise it's just gonna bump into the one across it. And then that's done. And we're gonna repeat the same on the other side. And I think every 2 rows I'm gonna do that basically. Okay, and now I'm gonna do 2 rows. And do the same again, essentially. So this one over here, and this one over here. And now we have to do the 4 rows of the pattern setting. But every 2 rows, I'm gonna loop the needles over. I just cannot forget that I just did 2 of the pattern, and then I have to do still 2, and then I'm gonna go from the beginning, essentially. I hope this works.
2 seconds later.
I am not gonna do that. I'm not gonna continue doing that. I have a feeling that it's gonna destroy my whole piece. I have this long of a piece already. I don't want to destroy it. I think I'm just gonna cut and serge. I know you're not supposed to do that, and especially with a machine like that, you can just knit in shape, essentially. But I guess my skill set is not there yet. So I'm just gonna continue knitting up until I hit 400 rows, and then I'm gonna take it off and cut out a shaped piece that I know will work for a jacket, and then I can continue on. So let's do the last 160 loops. Okay, I took my piece off. It's pretty long. I thought it would be half as long, honestly, but that's what it looks like. This is one side, and then this is the other. And as you can see here clearly, there is a mistake. I did not switch to the correct setting. I did 6 rows instead of 4. Same thing happened down here, and it quite bothers me. Also, the width, I guess you could block it to be the width that you need it, but I'm not really satisfied, honestly. And also one thing that I just noticed, the edge that I did here, this, I actually quite like that pattern. I like it even better than my overall pattern. I'm kind of eyeing redoing everything with this pattern instead of this. Tiny bit wider and not that long. So this in total is 400 rows. I probably only need this much. I'll put it on my dress form and see. Kind of want to redo it. I scrapped it. I made a new piece. This is what it looks like. This actually has no mistakes throughout the pattern. I guess you can see that there are some mistakes here at the edges, but that's fine, as I'm just gonna use that as my seam allowance. So I made this real quick, and then I also made this and this piece. These are both the same, like knitted the same way, just half the needles. I made a little mistake here. I took it off too soon. I actually took it off the machine at 200 rows, and then I was like, damn, I don't have enough yarn to start over, so I just sewed another 100 rows on top here, and that's what it looks like. I sewed it by hand so that I can match up all of the, loops. I'm not very pleased with that, but I'm thinking about adding a pocket or something like that over top, or in the very end, if I can, see whether I have enough yarn or not, just redo the whole piece. But those are my 3 bodice pieces, and now I'm gonna go ahead and make a sleeve, which I think is gonna be just another back piece. I think this looks good. Maybe I'm gonna do 350 rows just to make it a teeny tiny bit longer. So if anything, I'm gonna have like this bishop sleeve kind of thingy and not a 3/4 sleeve. I don't want to have that. So let's get going and let's get knitting. I'm also thinking if I should, for the sleeves, do the pattern that I did at the very edge. So just this. This just means that the Stöße, so these extra thingies at the very bottom, are not being used. Then that's what my settings create, because I really like that look too. Or I'm just gonna leave it at as is and, you know, just make a whole new one of these and have everything the same pattern. Okay, I have all of my pieces now ready. I even did some very, very narrow pieces that I want to put like left and right as some sort of border around my whole piece. And I also blocked them. As you can see right here, blocking essentially means that you put them in the shape that you want and then you make them wet and let them dry so that they stay in place however you set it before that. So I had to do that specifically for my front pieces because I had to use a lot of scrap materials because I only had so much yarn. I was totally not prepared at all to, you know, make this project this week. So I was just using up scrap yarn that I had lying around, and therefore all of my scrap yarn was different. And the one right here, the white one, is like a pearlescent kind of. I think it's a synthetic, I'm not sure about that, but this one is a cotton. And then the one I originally used, this one right here, is a very loose cotton. So, you know, the tension on both of these pieces is also different. So I had to make sure that these are the same dimensions so that once you have them as your front pieces, they don't look crooked. So that is one front piece and this one is the other. So to put everything together, I was thinking to just crochet them together, the pieces. So I am just gonna put right sides together as per usual, and due to my blocking, these all fit together, thankfully, or almost. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and pin these first. It might be smarter to start with the shoulder seams, because then I could do the same thing that I am doing with my sewing projects and do the sleeves after that and crochet all the way down towards the sleeve hem. I'm gonna do that. So same thing though, I'm gonna arrange this and then I need to check what the center of my back piece is right here. So this needs to be reaching towards the center here. Okay, now I'm gonna go crochet over here. I'm gonna use this yarn and I'm going to use a needle 4, and then I'm just going to crochet with a normal crochet. I don't think I like it. I'm gonna undo it and actually sew it. If anything, you could do this for the outside, but I don't want to have that kind of look. So I'm just gonna undo that and use my sewing machine. Okay, the shoulder seams are now sewn in place and serged and cut off to size. Now I'm gonna skip to the sleeves, and I'm just gonna take the center of the sleeve here again, and I'm gonna line that up with the shoulder seam, and then also check that the side seam that is left is the same as the side seam in the back piece. We can also just simply measure that. I want to go until here. And now I can put the sleeve in, repeat the same for the other side, and then finally also close the side seam. Now the sleeves are in, I quickly want to iron the seam allowance into the sleeves. Okay, and now we can go ahead and close the sleeve seam. So as with every sleeved garment, you just want to put the side seams together and then the underarm seam and continue on all the way until you reach the sleeve hem. Okay, everything is now put together and ironed, so I'm turning my whole piece right sides out because I want to see firstly how everything looks like. And then I also want to attach the two, detailed pieces that I made. So that's that. Let's just snip away all of the excess yarn. I made sure, obviously, to match everything up here. And then also all of the colors. Hopefully I did well here, yes. Okay, and now this already is a jacket. You could already use it like that. I went ahead and made these little thingies here that are gonna get sewn onto here to have like some sort of collar. So I have two of these. I made sure to have a clean edge, one clean edge I managed to get on either side, so these two. And I'm just gonna put them together right here and close the center back, and then I can sew them onto my front pieces. So I just quickly went around the whole piece and snipped off all of the edges, or if any loose ends were there, I just sewed them into the piece so that they are not gonna get undone. And that is the whole piece done, essentially. So we have two long sleeves, and then a cropped jacket with a kind of collar on it. And yeah, obviously the colors are very crazy, but as I said, this is just tryout, essentially. First time ever making a bigger garment for myself with the knitting machine, and for that I think it actually worked out pretty nicely. Like, we made a whole ass pattern, which is crazy. And yeah, the only thing is that I only use scraps, but I am very, very interested in remaking this garment, changing up a few things that I'm not satisfied with this garment. I'm going to show you it worn as well, obviously, and make it in one solid color or whatever I feel like, and go from there. So I think that was a really, really good learning experience, a good experience in general. And yeah, would recommend. I'm gonna do that again. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you'll get notified every time that I post. I post on Sundays, so you can keep an eye out for that. If you haven't already, please go ahead and check out all of the links to my socials down in the description box below. I post short format content all around my projects, so if you're interested in that, hit follow there. The most direct way to support me is to actually go to my Etsy store. The direct link to my Etsy store is also in the description down below. You're gonna find loads of patterns. I think I have over 100 at the moment, so that's very crazy. Obviously not for this jacket here, because that's just a trial run, I guess, but anything else that you see on my channel has a pattern to go with. You can check them out on my store. A special thank you to my channel members. You can support me in that way as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you next Sunday. Bye guys!